Now it's time for false disclosure roundup. Now, in my opinion, nothing is more ET than Sean Stone, who is Oliver Stone's son. Then he's interviewing this woman, Laura Eisenhower, who's the the granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was the president of the United States once. And she's very ET because her eyes are always bugging out. She reminds me of the wrestler Edge because their eyes bug out the same way. And she's another one of these people that swears that she's not the Illuminati. And she was talking about how she didn't want to go to Mars, but she went anyway. And as soon as I brought that up to Ald Kendall, I said, Ald, do you know who Laura Eisenhower is? He's like, yeah. And I said, she was talking about how she didn't want to go to Mars, and then he just interrupts me. He's like, yeah, but she went anyway, right? I'm like, yeah. So that's her for you. And then you got, now this is one of my favorites, Kelly in the Raw. She has the same exact speech pattern as Alex Jones, the same exact speech pattern that interrupts your higher mind, or excuse me, it disrupts your higher mind. And she actually has some good information talking about how if you pierce through veils, then you get paid off and you get your own show, like how what's his face Jordan Maxwell got paid off. And that's the direction I'm headed, because this veganism is going to get me where I need to be as far as piercing through the veil, and I'm going to get my own show. And this Kelly in the Raw, she's so funny because she's like, oh, I pierced through the eighth veil, and then that's when they came and offered me millions, but I turned it down because I already have millions. So she's born in the aristocracy, and she turns down money, and yeah, anyone with a brain can figure out that this is just horrible. And then this guy, Alfred Weber, this guy is funny because he has the same guest on she does. Like, this woman's guest will literally show up on this guy's show the next week. And this guy makes me laugh because he's like, oh, I went to Yale and I became I went to Yale and I became a judge and I joined a secret society, but I swear it wasn't Skull and Bones. But I can't tell you which secret society it was, but at the same time, I swear it wasn't Skull and Bones. And this guy is the perfect example of a loss of divine light. Without a doubt, when I watch this guy, I just see the loss of divine light, and yeah, I just get the demon vibe from him. And that goes for so many of his guests. So many of his guests are exactly like that, where they just have that loss of divine light, and they just seem like very dark Neanderthals. And speaking of Neanderthals, you had Bashar the other day talk about Sasquatch, and I was like, oh, really? And he said people who didn't evolve. He said, basically, Bashar said some bullshit about how people who did not evolve remain the Sasquatch. He says the word Sasquatch like it's some Italian cuisine. He's like, if you did not evolve, then you remained a Sasquatch. That's total BS. False disclosure roundup. Laura Eisenhower. You know what? Speaking of this Sean Stone guy right here, right? I wanted to slap this guy so hard because I remember that piece of crap Andrew Bartzis said. Andrew Bartzis asked him, what is your definition of full disclosure? And his response just made me want to throw my laptop out a window. Full disclosure is 720. What does the cube know? What does the lack box know? See this lack box right here? What does it know? 360 physical, 360 spiritual. That's what full disclosure is, baby. Oh God, Andrew Bartz's. You know that guy. Let me tell you something about Andrew Bartz's. That there's no one in this world that's more odious than Andrew Bartz's, which means hate deriving. There's no one. He's like one of the very few people I can actually. I can't forgive. He's just so bad. Hey, look, it's 12:33. Good time to end a video.